Hello, my name's Sarah. What's going on with you today?
I'm just really worried about some things going on in my life right now.
Let's talk about it. Is it with you, family, friends?
Kind of all of them, me and my family. I just have a lot of existential crisis going on inside right now.
Okay, can you describe some of those? Like, do you have any trauma going on in the past?
Yeah. In the past, very early on, my parents got divorced, and then my mom and dad both remarried, and my mom, that guy, it didn't work out very well with them either, so that was another divorce. I've seen divorce happen a lot, and I just feel like that's going to continue into my life.
Okay, what age did your parents first get divorced? Like, how old were you?
I was 9 months old.
So you probably don't remember it.
I don't remember it, but I feel like I saw a lot of struggle afterwards.
Okay. Do you have siblings?
I do have a lot because of the divorce, and they split up and they had kids separately, and so now I feel like I have a lot of responsibility with them.
So, like, what are your emotions going through? It's like, are you, like, depressed, or are you just, like, mad at your parents, or what?
I think initially since I was so young, I didn't have initial emotions because I couldn't really remember or know what was going on at the time. But as I got older and started realizing what had happened between them, I think I got mad at first, and then sad because my friends had full families and I didn't have that. So it was just a bunch of emotions all together.
So, do you have, like, closure with it? Like, do you know, like, why they got divorced?
I don't really. I'm afraid to ask.
Yeah. So, like, do you yourself see, like, are you afraid to be involved with someone else, like, get in a relationship and stuff?
Yeah, I think that's why I have a lot of boundaries and walls put up, because I don't want that to happen to me.
Do you have that with friendships? Like, do you, like, not seclude, but, like, do you seclude yourself, like, with your friends and stuff? Like, are you, like, I don't know, I'm scared to, like, get involved because I'm scared I'll be left out or
a little bit.
I'll get mistaken.
Yeah, I think it's hard to get walls broken down by any relationship.
Yeah. So, how do you think you're going to overcome this? Like, since we're going to do some CBT therapy, like, do you want to bring your parents into this trial, or it's up to you?
What do you think I should do?
Well, so I say the first, meeting we have, we discuss what's going on, like, a deeper sense, and then, if you're comfortable with the second time we meet up, we can, bring your mom, and then the next time add your dad, and then add the, their new weds.
So you think it would be beneficial to have step-parents too?
Yeah. Okay, so on a different level, what triggers you to think about, your parents' divorce?
Well, again, like when I was younger, I think I thought about it a lot, especially through when you're like first becoming a teenager, and that's when everyone starts kind of pairing off and relationships kind of things. Pairing off.
Yeah.
And I like really started to think about it then, because I was like, what's my future going to be like, those kind of things. And I just always go back to, well, if my parents didn't even last over 2 years, how are you supposed to be with someone?
Well, especially within college, people say this is when you find your soulmate.
Right.
And stuff like that. So, like, do you think that, like, with being in college and this happening to you and, like, leaving some trauma in you, you think that's, like, making you skeptical of what's going, like, if you're going to find somebody?
Yeah, very skeptical, and then that makes me
anxious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anxious and secluded in relationships.
Okay, so have you done anything to, like, calm yourself down when you think about it, or do you just overload yourself and then have, like, a breakdown?
Overload into a breakdown.
Yeah. So, have you talked to anyone about this, like, besides me?
No, you're the first person. I feel like I need to work on, like, techniques of how to calm anxiety, because it's becoming more and more.
So, we can start out with just a little rational therapy. We can just start out with you, like, when it comes to your mind, just bring your attention to something else. Like, oh, okay, well, this TV show's on. Like, don't, if, you know, if the show is what's triggered you, like, there's a family on there and they look happy and stuff, you know, just think to yourself, like, okay, well, maybe I can one day have this. And, like, even though my parents are divorced, like, I can still be happy. It doesn't mean that it's going to affect my life outcome. Something like that.
Yeah.
So I was just thinking about that kind of thing.
I feel like me and my siblings haven't talked about it enough to where I don't know if it really affects them either. Because I want them to have solid relationships too. So again, with that pressure of me being the oldest, I feel like I have that responsibility to make sure they aren't still being affected by it. And I don't know how to go about that.
Do you think you're alone? Like, do you think your siblings also, like, feel this as deep as you do?
Two of them, because I have 5 siblings, 2 of them are in relationships like long term. So I feel like they're doing okay, but they're also kind of young. So
yeah,
but then
they're just experimenting.
Yeah, and then the other 2, I feel like we relate on this level that they worry about those kind of things. Because one of my siblings, he has pretty bad anxiety too, and I feel like he thinks about those things. And his dad, we have different dads, so he also has that to worry about because his dad was not the best person. And then I think about that too because he was my stepdad at one time. I have that too.
Well, I mean, you know, my parents are divorced, so in that sense, it's like I know how it feels, but like not trying to, you know, say that I relate to you, but I've gone through some of the same thing. So it's like, for me, I would, you know, when it comes to holidays and stuff like that, like, you know, you're having to worry about going to their house.
Holidays are the most stressful.
Yeah, so, you know, just honestly, if you could make like a little schedule for the holiday season, like, okay, like this day I need to spend this amount of time with my mom's side of the family, this day I need to spend this time with my dad's family, stuff like that. Okay, so back to the holidays and such like that. How has, like, so you said that they have a hard time agreeing on a schedule. How would you go about doing that? Like, would you like bring them together, or like, do they even work well together?
They're pretty civil together, but I still feel, even 20 years later, I feel awkward bringing them together. And so it's kind of hard. And it's always been a fight between like them who gets the most attention kind of thing. So it's weird to bring them together and ask them.
Yeah, so like on those levels of like bring them together and like the attention thing, do you spend like weekends with them? Like, I know some families like do one weekend you're with your dad, the other weekend with your mom, like transfer off.
Before I did that, I would transfer off weekends and then some days in the week, but now it's kind of at my own, like whatever I want to do.
What you choose, yeah.
But I still have this like sense of it has to be equal kind of thing, so I try to do the same amount of time at each place.
Okay, and your siblings do it with you, or was it just you?
It was just me.
Okay. So like, how has not knowing why they got divorced like affected you? Like, does it just run through your mind? Like, do you play scenarios?
Yeah, I play scenarios, and in the past I've kept like a journal and stuff, and that's been a thing that has constantly come up sometimes. I even have dreams about it sometimes, like wondering why.
Do you ever talk about it with your family?
No, I don't like to bring it up. Do you think that's a bad thing?
I think that you need closure. Like, to me, it sounds like the overall reason for your anxiety is that you don't know why.
Yeah.
And, like, you thinking about, you know, like, oh, did my dad cheat on my mom cheat on my dad, like, that kind of thing. Like, you don't know why. So it's like, you could be thinking of the worst scenario ever, and maybe they just, like, thought they weren't good for each other. Like,
right.
You could be thinking the worst of the worst, and then it could be, like, the best, not the best of the best. It's not good they got divorced, but, like, you know,
sometimes
it could have been
better for them.
A little smoother ride than what you're thinking. So yeah, I think you need to get closure and like both sit down with both of them and just let them know that like it gives you, not only you, but like your siblings and, you know, probably their parents and your cousin. I mean, you know, distant family, like it probably gives them some sort of like question in their head, like none of us even realize what happened 20 years later.
Right.
Like we're all still so confused. So yeah, I would talk to them about it.
Do you think it would be beneficial to bring them in here or in a more natural environment, like at our house, or?
I would say, I mean, I mean, it's up to you, but I would recommend not like saying, okay, Dad, let's come over to Mom's house. Like, Mom, come over to Dad's house, because that's gonna put them in a situation where they feel obligated to say something like to like represent themselves or like to make themselves look better because they're in they're in an environment that's like there's so much pressure on them because you know that's their ex-wife's house with her new husband, so it's like you know they feel uncomfortable. So I would just say like, I don't know, bring them to like to your house or like invite them over for dinner, like something that's like, you know, it's subtle at first and then you know you kind of hit them with the bank, you know. But how much anxiety does it bring you, like on a scale of like 1 to 10?
On a regular day, like when I'm not around them, probably like a 3. But then on a day when I do see them, or like I'm going back and forth between houses, probably like an 8, because it's just like I feel like I'm constantly running around house to house, and then one wants me to spend more time and go with the rest of the family somewhere else, but I already told the other one that I would go somewhere else with them, and I don't ever know how to. I feel like I have to hold all the emotions in because I don't want to seem upset about something, because then they're going to be like, why are you upset? And I'll have to say, because of the other parent, and then they're going to be mad at the other parent.
Yeah.
So
I would just,
and that brings me more anxiety because then I'm keeping it all in.
So a 3 when you like you're not with them, an 8 when you are, or like even.
And I feel like it shouldn't be a 3. Even when I'm not with them, I
like it shouldn't have to be on the back of your mind.
Yeah, but it constantly is.
Do you ever feel like, you know, like when something good happens to you, like, oh, I want to tell them, but like I don't want the other one to be like, oh, well, she didn't tell me first.
Yeah, that I constantly think about that, and I have to make like separate group messages with them.
Yeah.
To, like, make sure and I have to send them at like the exact time.
So with that, do you like, would you be comfortable telling them like in the same group message? Like if you put them together, like would you be able to talk to them?
I feel like they wouldn't be mad about it. I just feel like it'd be weird.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, what are you doing?
Yeah, because like on my side, my dad was previously married, and like I know like they're kind of like what you're saying about your parents. Like my dad doesn't really want to be associated with his ex-wife, but you know when it comes down to it, when it comes to like graduation and stuff like that, like they have to come together and be civil for you know their kids.
Right.
Are your parents like that, like graduation and stuff?
They usually like don't sit near each other, but they're both there. And then too, you have to bring in the step parents. Like I don't want mom being mad at stepmom or like.
Do they ever try to like outdo each other like on your birthday, or like are they like I'm gonna get her more gifts than he does?
Kind of. And then I feel like in the past, because you know you don't remember everything when you were younger, it's been brought up before, like you don't even know what happened and like all those years where you were like 0 to 6 where I don't really remember everything. And so then I'm like, am I supposed to ask?
Yeah, so I highly recommend, from what you're saying, is that you sit down and like invite them over for dinner and you know say, I need to know like everything like that happened here, because like closure, it's what's gonna like release my not release it, but like it's gonna simmer it down a little bit. But like you know the scale from 1 to 10, it shouldn't be a 3 when like they're not even like anywhere near you. It should be like a 0 or a 1.
Right.
Like it shouldn't even be in the back of your mind at all. And like an 8, whenever you're together, like that's the peak. From what it sounds like, it's affecting you every single day. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think it makes me have anxiety over other things too, because once you're already kind of anxious, I feel like it makes you overthink everything.
So from the sounds of it, it sounds like we need to introduce a little bit of therapy, not like too much to hound you, but just a little bit. So first thing you can go about doing is I would say like more relaxation techniques. So yoga, like go to a yoga class, stuff like that, or you know sit in your room and not meditate, but like do some breathing exercises to relax yourself. And like once you get to that level of relaxation, like you feel more calm about it, and you know you get to a deeper sense of like, okay, yeah, I'm ready to like sit down and have a chat with him about it, and like I want to know the deeper meaning of this and stuff like that. But yeah, I would start out with the breathing stuff and the yoga and just something that relaxes you. Like if you like to go on a walk, go on a walk, go run, go to the gym, something that like reduces your stress and anxiety. But other than that, I think I should see you in about 2-3 weeks to schedule or to have another session just to see how like those treatments have, not treatments, but how those techniques have affected your lifestyle, like if it's working or not. But and then we can take it to the next step if that works. But I think is that good with you?
Yep, sounds good.
All right.
Hi, I'm Lexi. I'm your therapist today, and thank you for coming to meet me. And do you want to start off by telling me what brought you in today?
Okay, so a little bit about what brought me in today is that I tend to get overworked a whole lot, and not just overworked, but like I overthink a lot of things and stuff overcomes me, and I start to get like really, I seclude myself, and I get really deep down in my feelings. And like some examples of like what I've been noticing about myself is that like I have a planner of like every single day that has like everything I need to do, and I'll look at like, I don't know, say Tuesday. I look at Tuesday and I'm like, it's Monday evening, and I'm like, I have 3 things to do, and I freak out and I have a breakdown. Like I start crying and I start, I'll call my mom and I'd be like, Mom, what should I do? And then I don't know, there's scenarios that run through my head, and I'm like, if I don't get this done, like I'm gonna panic and I'm gonna get a bad grade, and I look too far into the future and stuff like that.
Has this happened multiple times?
Oh, it happens like 3 days a week.
Oh, so for how long has that been happening?
Oh, this has been happening since like, I would say like my senior year of high school, because like middle school through like sophomore year of high school, you don't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say senior year when I started to get more involved with myself and with or different organizations and stuff like that. Especially when I hit college, that's when it hit, because I was, I joined an organization, I joined a club, I joined like 3 other things, and I started school, so it's like having 6 classes a week,
Mm-hmm.
It's just, it all adds up, and then it's like, well, I have no time for myself.
And what year are you?
I am a junior in college.
So this has been happening for like 4 years now.
Yeah.
Is this the first time you've reached out to somebody about it?
Yeah.
Besides your mom?
Yeah.
Has she ever wanted you to before?
Yeah, she really wanted me to in like my freshman year of college, but I was like, oh no, it's my freshman year, I'm not used to the workload, I'm not used to anything else, like I'm not used to anything else. I'm new to this kind of thing, and I need to like figure out how to like, test well. I need to learn how to study. Because like I said, middle school, high school, you never had to study to do anything. So yeah.
Is your mom kind of like your comfort person to go to for when these things happen?
Yes, like comfort thing for everything. If I have a bad dream, call mom, like everything. So it's just, I don't know, I feel like I can talk to her about everything, and then all my worries seem to like fly away.
Do you have anyone else like that you can go to? Any of your friends or anyone?
I'm kind of the person that keeps my emotions like deep down. Not deep down, but I'm not going to go up to my friend and be like, I'm severely depressed,
Mm-hmm.
like, which I don't think I am. So it's like, I'm not going to go up to one of my roommates and just say, I'm not having a good day, like, can you talk to me about it? Like, I want to just keep it in and think about it to myself, or talk to my mom about it.
Do you think it would be beneficial to have another person? Like, what if your mom can't come at the time? Or can't be there
Yeah, it would be beneficial just because they're there.
Mm-hmm.
And like, even if they're not there, I know they'll be home later, or I know that they're only a call away. I mean, my mom's a call away, but
Right.
like, just their presence would be helpful.
Yeah. And do you work on top of all this?
Yes, I have a job. I work 10 hours a week, so that also adds on to the stress of everything in my planner.
So you were saying that you work like 10 hours a week, plus on top of however many classes you have,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just an overwhelming feeling all the time, and it kind of happens a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So have you ever talked to anyone about having like anxiety, or?
I have thought about it, but I never thought I was to the point where it was like diagnosable. Like, I didn't know if I was like too like that extreme with
Mm-hmm.
it. So that's why I'm here today, just to figure out like if if I'm overlooking something.
I don't think you're overlooking anything, but I think it would definitely be beneficial to talk to a doctor maybe, see if they can help you in some ways. There's also some things I can suggest that might be able to help you relax and those kind of things.
Okay.
First, what are some of the first reactions in your body when you know you're having like, not an episode, but you know, kind of like those effects?
Honestly, it's not like my heart starts racing, but it's like I'm like uncontrollable. Not uncontrollable, that sounds extreme. But like I'm like my brain starts racing, my thoughts like are going in circles. I'm like, holy crap, like what am I gonna do? Like I have to study for this test on this day, then I have to do this homework on this day, and then I have to go to work at this time, and then I have to go to the meeting at this time. So it's like everything is just going 100 miles an hour, and I'm like, how do I control this? I'm thinking to myself like, okay, I need to sit down like a set time for schedule. I need to like say at this time I'm gonna do this, and you know, I don't know. It's just everything goes 100 miles an hour.
So are there any like physical signs besides like that you're just jittery and those kind of things?
I like when I tend to get anxious, I start to like play with my rings, or I start to like play with my hair, or I don't know. It's just like when I get nervous too, though.
Yeah. Do you have like a watch or anything that could track your heart rate to see if it goes up or down?
Yeah.
That could be something that we could over time pay attention to, like see if you can see your heart rate rise before you have like, a moment where you're really anxious. Definitely like just knowing those triggers in your body and knowing like, hey, this is happening. This usually happens when I'm about to have like a breakdown that you say, and you can kind of catch it before it happens and you can relax from there. What are some things that help you relax? Not maybe in these scenarios when it's like that extreme, but like we could work towards it being that.
What I do now, I tend to, which may not be good, I tend to not seclude myself, but I tend to just go in my room and like sit there and like think about like what I'm gonna do, or like I take a shower, sometimes cry, just let the emotions out.
Sometimes it's good to let the emotions out.
Like I said, I talk to my mom about it all the time. I thought about medication, but I didn't know if I needed to go that far in advance. Like I didn't know if that was too extreme at the moment, but other than that, I just kind of sit in my room and just kind of take it upon myself as to like what's going on.
Yeah, it's definitely good to analyze what's happening with yourself, but I think you could also do some like meditation, breathing kind of things to see if any of that helps your like physical signs of anxiety go down, because it's not great for your body to constantly be like
in stress.
Yeah, definitely. So now that we talked about that, you kind of know what your body triggers when it's like about to happen with your anxiety and stuff, I feel like we should kind of know if anxiety has run in your family before, or like even far back or distant.
Well, my mom has anxiety, and my dad has anxiety, and my sister has anxiety, and they are all on medication for it. So that's why I've come to like see today to see if it's like that extreme to where I need to be on medication. Like I don't know if it's like just because it is hereditary, or like if I don't know.
Do any of them have like an anxiety disorder, or is it just like generalized anxiety?
It's just generalized anxiety.
It definitely does run in families, so it could be a possibility. And but do you like think you level with how they act when they have anxiety?
Especially my dad. My mom's is more like onset by work and like her daily life, but my dad's is just like literally everything he does. So it's like, an example of like my dad's would be like if the dogs come inside muddy, my dad gets anxiety about like what the house is gonna look like. He's like, he freaks out about it. My sister's is just like every now and then it happens, like if it's just with her kids. But I would say mine's like my dad's, like every little thing triggers something.
Is it more like when something happens you think about what the outcome is gonna be? Like, that's what you worry about? Okay. So has that been like the cause of most of your, do you want to call them attacks, or what do you want to call them?
I mean, they're not episodes, but it's like I don't know, it's just
Because
I don't-
everyone's
yeah.
anxiety is different, so you can't really.
Yeah, I guess it's episodes, because I mean, it's not like I have a panic attack when something happens, because I don't know, it's the episodes.
Okay, so we are determined that we can call them episodes, and they happen pretty often. So, do we want to talk about your worst episode? I feel like we can start from the worst and then compare it to your most recent, maybe.
I would say the worst episode I've had thus far was probably my freshman year of college, when, like I said, I was new to everything. I was new to like the amount of workload I had to do, like the amount of.
Are you in school away from home too?
What?
Are you away from home at school?
Oh yeah,
So is that, like, another stressor?
Yeah.
Okay.
So being away from home, not being as close to like my parents as I would like to be, and so I was having to, cook my own meals. Like I didn't have the necessities of my mom, cooking me dinner. And then, I didn't have my friends, because I didn't have anybody in school. Like, I just moved to a new college, like I didn't know anybody. And then, like I said, the workload and the class schedules and organizations, meetings, stuff like that. I was trying to get involved, but it was just all seeming to be a lot more. And then one day I just snapped. I looked at my grades or something. It just triggered me to like, I don't know, I had a meltdown. I just cried and I was like, I can't do this anymore. I was like, I'm just gonna give up. I'm gonna move back home. I want to drop out. I can't do it anymore. So it's just, that was probably the worst one I've ever had, because I remember it hit me for about like 2-3 days.
So it was just everything all combined.
It was,
of moving away, and didn't have that parental guidance, and it is scary to be away on your own. And then, did you eventually meet more people? Has that helped?
Yes, joining an organization really helped. But I had a friend from high school come, but I wasn't really close with her. But then we lived on like 2 different floors in the same dorm, so that we were the same organization. So we just kind of clicked together. So that made it a lot better after my first semester.
Good. What were your initial emotions when you first came here? Like, if you could describe them with one-word emotions.
When I first moved to college, I was very excited. I was like, okay, time to do me. I don't have to fake it to make it, whatever. Well, then I got the second night, didn't know who my roommate was. She was never there. I was always by myself, in that little cold cellar dorm room where they are little jail cells.
I'm sure that was overwhelming too.
Yes, so it's like being, in that little bitty space by myself, and it's just dark and gloomy, and it was awful. I truly was. I don't know if I was depressed, but I was not happy. I was very upset all the time. I cried all the time. I called my mom. I was like, I just want to come home. I literally went home every single weekend. Every single weekend I went home. Yeah.
So if you had to rate those emotions, which one did you feel the most? You gave us 3, right? Upset, scared, sad.
I was more sad that I just couldn't be in, my hometown with my family, my other friends. I couldn't be back in high school per se. I couldn't have, the weekends where I get to go hang out with all my high school friends and go to Dairy Queen, stuff like that. But I would say sad.
Okay. And then what were your initial thoughts when you felt, I know you said you felt scared and you wanted to go home, but what made you, what were the thoughts you had that led to, I just want to go home, I just want to.
Like I said, just thinking about the little bitty room I was in, and I would think about people that were from Bowling Green that had literally half their high school come to Western, and they were they had all the friends in the world. I would think about how if other girls in my organization are a lot closer, and how they're probably all out getting ice cream right now, and I'm sitting in my dorm by myself. I would just think of seclusion and being left out. That's literally all I thought of.
And did that kind of control your life at that point?
Yeah, it controlled it, but it also motivated me. I was like, okay, well, I can't just sit here and pity myself. I have to go out there and, force myself to make friends. Get involved, not just sit here in my room and, have self-pity.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what I was gonna ask is like what you think a more rational response would be. And now, but it sounds like you've had time to think about it and you know that like you got to meet people and you got to do this and
Yeah. So I don't know. Putting myself out there, I was very nervous at first, but I mean, after all it's said and done, like looking back 3 years from then, like I'm glad I did it because I literally would probably not still be in school. Yeah, I'd probably be back home.
I'm glad you got involved with things that made you want to stay here.
Yeah.
But now that you are like secured on that topic, I know you still have like other things that give you anxiety and stuff. How much do you believe in like those earlier thoughts that you had? Like, do you still ever think about like those worries that you had during that situation? Like, I'm not gonna be close with people, or are they all completely gone?
Well, I mean, they're not all completely gone because, like, you know, some nights I have stuff planned and it's like, you know, both or all three of my roommates are going to, you know, like I said, go get ice cream, and I'm sitting at a meeting or something, and I'm like, okay, well, that just kind of sucks. But then it's like, at least I have those friends now. Like, big whoop, they go do something without me one night. Like, okay, I'll get over it. Like,
Yeah.
it's not gonna kill me.
Right. What do you think other people in this situation would do?
From the looks of it, I feel like a lot of people hold it in. Like one of my roommates, I would say she has more anxiety than I do, but I would say that some people just feel the need to like just hold it in and like not even come out about it. Like it's for me, it's like talking about it makes me feel 10 times better, and it makes me feel like the weight's off my shoulders. So yeah, I feel like some people just hold it in, and like, but some people also don't. Some people just rant about it all day.
Yeah. And I would definitely agree that it's better to let it out.
Yeah. And I feel like I don't sit, like, I don't go to, like, hang out with my friends and I just, like, pout. Not pout, but, like, I'm sad. I feel like I don't do that, so I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you got past that worst breakdown, and then we know now that for future breakdowns, or even just, they don't all have to be these extreme breakdowns, just for like simple things, you know that you can always come here to talk. Do you feel like you want to reach out to your doctor to talk about medicine?
Yeah, I probably will.
Okay.
Just to get a little hold on it myself.
Yeah. And then, like I said, I would suggest some like relaxation techniques to go through that. And then I'm also going to give you a copy of this chart.
Okay.
And then anytime that you feel like one of these episodes coming on, you can fill this out, and obviously like in the middle of a breakdown you might not want to do it, but afterwards you can reflect on it and we can talk about it next time if you want to come back, and I think it will help us track your progress.
Okay.
So
thank you.
You're welcome. I think we're good for today.